Harlan Coben's I Will Find You tells the story of David, a man who is in jail for the murder of his own son. After serving 5 years of his life sentence, however, David gets a visit from his ex-sister-in-law, Rachel. Rachel tells David that his son is alive, and she has proof. If you've ever read or watched anything by Coben, then you'll know that his stories are usually complex and interesting, and to be fair, I Will Find You is exactly those two things. It was a fun read. I found myself caring about the characters and their respective stories. I don't remember being bored at any particular time. So, yeah, this book was a good read, and if you like Harlan Coben but you haven't read this particular book of his, then you should. I'm not here to talk about how good the book is today. I'm here to talk about a specific plotline that I found extremely weird, that plotline being David and Rachel's relationship. As I mentioned before, Rachel is David's ex-sister-in-law. She is the younger sister of his ex-wife, and the woman who visits him with proof that his son is, in fact, alive. Now, when these two see each other, David says that Rachel's eyes widen as she takes him in. He further describes himself by saying, I, her once beloved brother-in-law, the man with the offbeat sense of humor and the devil-may-care smile. And the way he says this immediately sets me on high alert. At this point, warning sirens are going off in my head because, you're either in love with yourself, David, or Rachel is in love with you. Those are the only two situations that would warrant a description like that. If you're a reader, you'll get what I'm saying. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, because it gets way worse. David later says, we were always close, Rachel and I. I liked spending time with her. She liked spending time with me. I know you're probably thinking that I'm overreacting, and that there isn't anything wrong with spending time with your brother and sister-in-law. And you're right. But just look at what he says next. Rachel looks worn yet still beautiful. She lowers her gaze, and for a moment I see the 18-year-old girl I'd met when Cheryl first brought me to her New Jersey home from Amherst College during our junior year. He then says that his ex-wife's parents didn't really like him, but Rachel did, and he grew to love her as the closest thing I would have to a little sister. I cared about her. I felt protective of her. David then asks Rachel about her husband, and she tells him that they're divorced, and he says sorry. Then he thinks, I'm not really sorry to hear it. I never thought Sam was good enough for her, but I felt that way about most of her boyfriends. Right. And you felt that way because you totally just saw her as a little sister? Anyway, the book goes on with its plot. Rachel assists David quite a lot throughout the story, and I don't really remember anything that happens David-Rachel related, obviously. I don't remember anything that happens between David and Rachel until the end of the book when, drumroll anyone, they start dating. Yep, you heard that right. I wish I was lying. David starts a relationship with his ex-sister-in-law. I feel Rachel's arms snake around me. Am I the only one who finds that ridiculous? And weird? I mean, imagine being anyone in that situation in real life. The ex-wife, the new husband, David, Rachel. How do you casually date your sister's ex-husband? How does that work? That little plotline really threw me, to be honest, and it was the biggest shock factor for me in the entire book. I mean, the book was good, but dating your ex-sister-in-law really leaves a lasting impression.